Hello everyone! This is Running on Empty Food Review. Well, hello ladies, gentlemen, and everyone watching. Welcome one and all to this newest edition of the Running on Empty Food Review series. I'm your host, the Report of the Week. Thank you for checking in. Changing things up ever so slightly anyway. It's not to say that I haven't done reviews of items from Domino's before, because I certainly have, but they aren't the most frequent occurrence, so it's always interesting when they have something new to the menu to offer anyway, and it's just a little bit of a change up, which can be exciting. This begs the question, however, how new is this item? And you might say, well, what do you really mean by that, review bro? Well, here's the thing. A couple days ago, Domino's made this big announcement talking about how they were adding new sides to their menu. Now, sure, it's not pizza or anything, but, it's still something. And they were saying, we've got these 4 new types of loaded chicken, they said. It's going to be essentially like boneless chicken pieces, and it's available with a variety of cheeses and toppings. It's supposed to be like a deluxe sort of side, available in either hot buffalo, sweet barbecue bacon, crispy bacon and tomato, or spicy jalapeno pineapple. Sounds interesting, but I was looking at this and I was thinking to myself, am I experiencing some sort of deja vu? Because this seems awfully familiar to me. I was looking at the flavors and I was looking at the concept. I was thinking, hasn't this been on the menu for at least like the last 10 years or so? And essentially what looks like they did is they merely took a side of theirs that I think they just called boneless chicken, and they essentially just renamed it to loaded chicken, and they added like maybe one new flavor to it, and they claimed, that they tweaked a few ingredients around, but really, nothing's really new here. This has already been on the menu for, again, a good decade, and they just changed the name of it, essentially, and maybe 1 or 2 ingredients, I suppose just to try to drum up interest, and then act like this is just brand new, some sort of massive addition, when really it's just been there, but it's been forgotten for the most part. Anyway, I've never really reviewed the loaded chicken of theirs to begin with, and we'll see if it's any good or not. A lot of the sides from Domino's can be very hit or miss. There are a few that can be quite good, like the stuffed cheesy bread, for instance. That could be pretty solid. But some of these loaded items that I've had have been really bad, so we will see what happens. I decided, because this seems to be the one that they're promoting the most, to go with the loaded chicken in the hot buffalo variety. And what that entails, for the price of $8, you get 12 chicken bites. They are covered in buffalo sauce, ranch dressing, and then in a blend of mozzarella, cheddar, and feta cheese. So it's supposed to be, again, I wouldn't necessarily, to call it gourmet would pretty much be an insult to fine dining, but it's supposed to be more, again, of like more of a deluxe side than, just some boneless wings or something. It's supposed to be a little bit of in an upper echelon compared to that, perhaps. We will see, right? The boneless chicken has, again, the buffalo sauce, the ranch, and then the cheese. $8 for it. Okay, here's where the fun begins. So, standard box, right? Same old, same old. And I open it up because, I always, when I'm able to, I check the box to try to make sure I got the right thing. This is like the definition of trying not to judge a book by its cover. I think you could already see the thing looks burnt and dry right now, and this is like begging me not to judge a book by its cover. Yeah, this looks so much like the ad right here. You can see it's like it's all burnt and overcooked around the edges. Doesn't mean that it necessarily, is going to be bad or anything, but it certainly does not look like how it's advertised as being. And it looks extremely dry, too. I barely see any sauce. And like I said, I don't think it's supposed to be blackened to this extent like this. So I think that they cooked this for, I think, a tad too long, if you ask me. And Maybe the sauce evaporated, right? We will see. But it certainly doesn't look all that great. Time will tell. Does it taste any good? Let's find out. I'm going to pick a piece of chicken and accompanying cheese, I guess, out. Try it out. And let's see if this is any good or not. The hot buffalo loaded chicken from Domino's going in. Almost looks diseased in a sense. No, that wasn't. I'll take that back. Just take a moment and look at the cross section right there real quick. Right, it's like all that is breading, and that's the chicken right there. I'll try this other stuff. I don't even know if this is just a combination. It's like a mix of breading and cheese, I guess. Not a fan. Don't judge a book by its cover. There's truth to the saying, of course there is, and there's been many instances on this channel where there have been things that have looked initially unappealing that have actually turned out to be quite good. So I look at this, and it looks like a burnt, dry mess, and I know that Domino's, does have some sides that are pretty good. This is not one of them, and maybe the issue is merely individual preparation, but reviewing what I got, what I have here before me, this is not good at all. The weirdest thing here with this whole thing right now, this is definitely overcooked. 100% is. Most of the cheese is burnt or extremely dry. It was definitely left in the oven probably a minute too long. So most of the cheese you really can't even taste. For a 3-cheese blend, you could taste barely any of it. Maybe a tiny, tiny little bit of maybe some of the mozzarella, but even that is a stretch. The cheese is there, but again, it's just this sort of overcooked, burnt, has this rubbery texture. Just it's been in the oven for too long. The chicken is equally dry. It has a certain toughness to it as well. It's just, this has all the hallmarks of being overcooked. Hot buffalo is what this definitely isn't. I could tell you that right now, because there is no spice to this whatsoever. Amusingly, what has survived, seemingly without any sort of incident whatsoever, is actually the ranch dressing. That's the one thing that seems to have survived unscathed. So, I guess well, I was going to try to come up with some witty remark about ranch dressing, but I drew a blank right there, so you're left with that instead. The ranch dressing did survive, though. The ranch, as a matter of fact, is what there are nice globs of right there. I know it's not in focus, but that on the tip of my fork is just all ranch dressing, and I'm looking right down here. There are many other just big globs of ranch dressing everywhere. That's interestingly the one thing that still seems to have remained a liquid and has remained unscathed through this all. But the buffalo sauce, there is really none to be found. I think it's there because you could obviously see in some of the cross sections a little bit of red pigmentation, but it's definitely not spicy in the least, and you definitely can't taste any of the buffalo sauce. You can't really taste any of the cheese. The chicken is dry. In some bites of the chicken, there's more breading than there is chicken in the first place, and that certainly does it no favors. And then on top of it is just all this liquid ranch dressing, which, it's just ranch-flavored, overcooked and otherwise dry chicken and cheese, and that's it. And when the name of this is hot buffalo and not overcooked food smothered in ranch dressing, for $8, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of effort, and I really pity the raw ingredients here that were brought up and cultivated for the purpose of turning into this. What a waste. Complete and total waste. This is going right into the garbage as soon as the camera is turned off, because this is not enjoyable in the least. Now, I've had the boneless chicken before from Domino's. Not my favorite. Normally I won't really get it, but if I had to, I would, and I like my boneless wings. Definitely not amongst the best, I will say that, even when it's cooked properly. So again, more often than not, I will bypass the boneless wings and boneless chicken from Domino's, just again because of the chicken quality, and it seems just inferior to what you receive from a lot of other establishments. So it doesn't leave me particularly surprised, but even the regular boneless chicken is so much better than this. And obviously there are preparation errors at hand here, but the whole combination to begin with, something's just very wrong here, especially when it's called hot buffalo, and of course the emphasis is on spice, and there is none to be found. As a matter of fact, the only thing you really taste is essentially the cooling agent, the ranch dressing, again just smothering all this dry, flavorless matter, essentially. Yeah, there's nothing really good about this at all. So one basic ingredient here turned out alright, and everything else didn't, for $8. Completely unacceptable. Hopefully, this was just some sort of mistake that happened as far as the preparation is concerned, and, that this isn't the norm now. Wouldn't be surprised if it is, though. But, very disappointing. Not the first bad side that I've had from Domino's, I could tell you that, but, yeah, I went into this, I opened up the box, I looked at it, and I thought, I hope it's better than it looks. And it wasn't, so that's all that there really is to it there. $8 completely wasted. There are very few redeeming qualities, if any, when it comes down to this item. There's really nothing good to say about it. It's not enjoyable. It's a waste of your money. I took no pleasure in eating this whatsoever, and I'm not so much as going to take another bite out of this. So, this is downright bad. Out of 10, therefore, the hot buffalo loaded chicken from Domino's, one of the worst items I've had from them, probably. This might be worse than those loaded tots that I tried from them a couple years back, which were, I think that was the worst item from them that I've had at the time. But this really has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Even, again, the ranch, it just doesn't work with anything. It clashes with everything here. It's just sort of gross. And, like I said, there are no redeeming qualities to this. So, out of 10, therefore, I can't really think. I try to be generous, but I can't really think of I guess that the ranch dressing survived. That's the only good thing to say about it. Aside from that, there's nothing. I'm gonna have to give this a 1 out of 10 as a result. I was searching for any reason to give it a score higher than that, and I can't find one. So that's the rating that it has. There is nothing good about this at all. Nothing. Go with a more traditional side. If you really want to get, some Domino's, I would highly recommend the stuffed cheesy bread. That's still good. Get the bacon and jalapeno one. That's quite pleasant, as a matter of fact. If you want to get chicken, I would just say get the regular wings, the regular buffalo wings, or just get the regular boneless chicken if you want, with some dipping sauce on the side. I think your odds of success would be higher than whatever this mess is supposed to be. They tried. I know what they were trying for here. They tried and they failed miserably. I get what I get, and I review what I get. On to the next. That's all that I have for you. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm your host, The Report of the Week.